In this video, I'm going to teach you 3 of the basic crochet skills: slip knot, chaining, and the single crochet. And at the end of this video, you will know how to crochet. So to crochet, you need yarn and you need a crochet hook. And to get your yarn onto your crochet hook, we're going to make a slip knot. So you're going to take the loose end of your yarn, that's the end of your yarn that isn't connected to anything, and put it on top, overlapping the working end of your yarn to create a loop. So the working end of your yarn is the end of your yarn that's connected to your skein or your ball. That should be underneath, and the loose end is on top. Reach 2 fingers into that loop and pull the working end of your yarn through that loop. Pull it taut, and that is a slip knot. If you want to spend more time learning the slip knot, I'll leave my slip knot tutorial in the description. So after you've made your slip knot, you can just put your crochet hook into that loop and pull it taut onto your crochet hook. Now you have your yarn on your crochet hook. Now the next step in crocheting is to create a chain. Your chain is going to be the building blocks or the foundation for most of your crochet projects. It's pretty much always going to be your first step. So to chain, you're going to take the working end of your yarn, again that's the end that's connected to your ball or your skein, and to hold my yarn in my left hand, so I have my crochet hook in my right hand, and I loop my yarn around my left pinky finger, and then also kind of wrap it so it's in between my middle finger and my pointer finger, and then I can use my pointer finger to kind of guide and control my yarn. Everyone holds their yarn in their left hand differently. That's what works for me. Do what feels comfortable for you. There are no rules here, but you shouldn't feel tense and it shouldn't hurt. Also, just make sure that you relax. A lot of times people get tense when they're learning how to crochet and it becomes painful. Just relax. So now we're going to start on that chain. You're going to yarn over. Yarning over is taking your yarn from the left side over here where it is in my left hand, around the back of the crochet hook, all the way around and back to the left again. So it should look like your crochet hook is wearing like a sash. So that's your yarn over. So we have this yarn on the hook from our slip knot. That counts as a loop. And then we have the yarn that we yarned over. The yarn that you yarned over is going to get stuck or snagged under the crochet hook. That's what the hook of your crochet hook is for. And the other loop from our slip knot is going to go over our crochet hook. And that is a chain. You just chained 1. Now we're going to continue on with our chain. So again, we're going to yarn over, which is just wrapping your yarn around your crochet hook from left to right and then left again. So let's go over that again. Take my yarn from the left all the way around the back to the left again. So it should look like your crochet hook is wearing a sash. And then you have the loop down here, and that's going to go over your crochet hook. And the yarn that you yarned over gets snagged under the hook. Now we have 2 chains. Again, yarn over, and that loop goes over your crochet hook. Now we have 3 chains. So again, yarn over, pull your loop over your crochet hook. That's 4 chains. So again, yarn over, and I just grab with my thumb and my pointer finger the chain that I already have there and pull that bottom loop over your crochet hook. And that's 6 chains. Yarn over, pull the loop over your crochet hook. 7 chains. So usually crochet patterns will tell you to chain X amount of chains at the beginning of a pattern. It might be 7, it might be 20, it might be 300. You will just chain as many chains as your pattern requires. So again, we yarn over and pull that bottom loop over the crochet hook, and the yarn that we yarned over gets snagged under the hook. Just like that. You can go back and repeat that as many times as you need to watch that to learn it. I'm going to fast forward to the end of this chain to show you how to move on to your single crochets. When you're satisfied with the length of your chain, we're going to move on to our first row of single crochets. We're going to work our first single crochet into the second chain from hook. So that's our first chain from hook, and that's our second chain from hook. We're going to insert our hook into that second chain from hook. So first, second, and insert your hook from front to back through that second chain from hook. like so. And now you should have 2 loops on your hook, 1, 2. And now we're going to yarn over again. So your crochet hook should be wearing that yarn like a sash again. And under that, you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to pull that top loop over our crochet hook, and then this yarn over gets snagged under your hook, like so. Now you have 2 loops on your hook again, and you're going to yarn over and pull both those loops over your crochet hook, and your yarn over gets snagged under your hook. So pull both these loops over the top of your crochet hook. And you just worked a single crochet. You're going to repeat that down every chain, and that's going to be your row of single crochets. And I promise it gets easier as you practice, and it becomes a lot less complicated. A lot of it becomes muscle memory. So you're going to insert your hook into that next chain from front to back, like so. And then you're going to yarn over. You have 2 loops on your hook right now. You're going to yarn over. Your yarn over is going to get snagged under your crochet hook, and we're going to pull that top loop over the top of your crochet hook. Now you have 2 loops on your hook again, and you're going to yarn over. That yarn over is going to get snagged under your crochet hook. It always does. And these 2 loops are going to go over your crochet hook. And you worked another single crochet. So we're just going to repeat that again. Insert your hook into the next chain. You have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over. Pull that top loop over your crochet hook. You have 2 loops on your hook again. Yarn over. Pull both loops over your crochet hook. Another single crochet. So now we've worked 3 single crochets. We're going to do it again. Insert your hook into that next chain. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull that top loop over your crochet hook, 2 loops on our hook again, yarn over, pull both those loops over your crochet hook. You can go back and repeat watching that as many times as you need to. I'm going to work down this row of single crochets. So you're just working a single crochet into every single chain. And when you reach the last chain, which is what I'll skip forward to now, I'll show you how to move into the next row of single crochets. So you just work a normal single crochet into that last chain, and you just finished 1 row of single crochets. Should be looking like this. Now you're going to chain 1. So just like our foundation chain, you're going to yarn over and pull that loop over your crochet hook. Chain 1, and then turn, which is basically flipping your work around. So what was the front becomes the back, and what was the back becomes the front. You just flip it over like you're turning the page of a book. And now we're going to work another row of single crochets into the row of single crochets that you just stitched. It's so similar to what you've been doing. The only difference is that you're working into those single crochets instead of the chain. So to get started, you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch. So you can see how each of these holes here are the stitches. And you're just going to insert your hook into the first stitch. So just inserting it from front to back, just like you did with the chain. And now there are 2 loops on your hook. The top one kind of looks like 2 loops because it's that whole single crochet from your previous row, and that's what it looks like, but it counts as 1 loop. And then you have 1 loop on the bottom. So you yarn over, you're going to pull that top loop over your crochet hook, just like you did before. Now you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull up those 2 loops. So that's your first single crochet in the second row. So now you're just going to repeat that into every stitch down this row. So insert your hook into the next stitch from front to back. You can see how you have 2 loops on your hook. The top one is the single crochet, so it looks different. And you yarn over. You're going to pull the top loop over your crochet hook. You have 2 loops on your hook again. Yarn over. Pull those 2 loops over your crochet hook. So again, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull up 2 loops. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull up 2 loops. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull up 2 loops. I'm going to fast forward to the end of this row now and show you how to turn and move on to your third row, which is super similar to what we've been doing, but I don't want you to leave here going into row 3 confused. So when you get to the last stitch in your row, you're going to crochet your single crochet like normal into that stitch. So that's what it should be looking like. And just like we did in the previous row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. So just flip your work around, and you're just going to repeat what you did in row 2 for as many rows as you'd like. So just insert your hook into that first stitch and start working your single crochets again. And you can just repeat that and repeat that and repeat that. Thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful, please like it and subscribe. I have a lot of easy stitch tutorials on my channel, and I try to break them down to be as simple and easy to understand as possible. You can also find me on TikTok at modern_made_, and all my patterns are on Etsy. My shop name is Modern Made Shop. Again, thank you so much for following along. I do really hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you will join me for more stitch tutorials in the future.